be satisfied with that earning. Gambling has also been prohibited in Manusmriti, chapter number 7, verse number 50. It says, drinking, gambling, women, and hunting. All these are 4 major sins in order. Drinking alcohol has also been prohibited in Manusmriti, chapter number 7, verse number 47. In Manusmriti, chapter number 9, verse number 221 to 228. It's also prohibited in Manusmriti, chapter number 9, verse number 258. The third thing, anzabu al-azlamu, dedication of stones, divination of arrows. Idol worship we already discussed earlier. Divination of arrows, fortune telling. It's mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 9, verse number 258, that a person who earns his living by telling good things, a soothsayer and a fortune teller, Manusmriti chapter 9, verse 262 says that the king shall punish them according to the severity of their crime. So even fortune telling and soothsaying have been prohibited in Manusmriti, chapter number 9, verse number 258 to 262. Quran further says in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 188. Quran prohibits bribing. Quran says, use not your wealth as a bait for the judges, in order you may eat other people's wealth. Quran prohibits involving in bribe. The same thing is mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 9, verse number 258. It says that a person who deals with bribe, a deceiver, a defaulter, all of them, verse 262 says that the king shall punish them according to the severity of the sin. Furthermore, Quran prohibits the eating of pork in no less than 4 different places. Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse number 173, Surah Ma'idah, chapter number 5, verse number 3, Surah Anam, chapter number 6, verse number 145, and Surah Nahl, chapter number 16, verse number 115, Hurrimat alaykumul maytutu waddamu wa lahmul khinzir, wa ma uhilla li ghayril bi. Forbidden for you for food are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and any food on which any name besides Allah's name is invoked. Quran prohibits, besides other thing, the eating of the flesh of swine. Pork has been prohibited. Pork has also been prohibited in the Hindu scriptures. It's mentioned in Manusmriti, chapter number 5, verse number 19. It says that a Brahmin, knowingly, if he eats mushroom, if he eats dung heap pig, if he eats onion, a tame cock, or garlic, he shall fall. It's further mentioned in the Vishnu Sutra, chapter number 5, verse number 49, that anyone who sells pork should be punished in the same way. Anyone who sells the forbidden meat, including pork, he should be punished in the same way. That means his opposite hands and legs should be lopped off. The Vishnu Sutra, chapter number 5, verse number 49 says, if anyone sells pork, the punishment for him is chopping off his opposite hands and feet. Even this punishment is not mentioned in the Quran. So, the Hindu scriptures are more against not having the flesh of pork as compared to Islamic scriptures. There are many misconceptions in Islam, and people always point a finger that why does Islam subjugate the women by keeping her in the veil? And if we analyze that, who is to decide what is modest? The Quran says in Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 30, say to the believing man that he should lower his gaze and guard his modesty. That whenever a man looks at a woman, any brazen thought comes in his mind, he should lower his gaze. Next verse, Surah Nur, chapter number 24, verse number 31 says, say to the believing woman that she should lower her gaze and guard her modesty, and display not her beauty except what appears ordinary of, and draw her veil over the bosom, and display not her beauty except in front of her father, her husband, her son. Then a big list of mahram is given. Basically, there are 6 criteria for hijab, which is given in the Quran and the Hadith. The first is the extent. For the man, it's from navel to the knee. For the woman, the complete body should be covered. The only part that can be seen are the face and hands up to the wrist. There are many scholars who say that when this should be covered. The remaining 5 criteria are the same. The second is the clothes they wear, it should not be tight so that it reveals the figure. Third, it should not be transparent. Fourth, it should not be so glamorous so that it attracts the opposite sex. Fifth, it should not resemble and be a sign of the unbeliever. And sixth, it should not resemble that of the opposite sex. Similarly, if you read Hindu scriptures, It's mentioned in Rig Ved, book number 8, hymn number 33, verse number 19. It says, Brahma has made you a dame, made you a lady. So therefore, cast down your eyes and do not look up. Put your feet together and let not your garment reveal what your veil conceals. So according to Rig Ved, book number 8, hymn number 33, verse number 19, it says that the woman should lower the gaze. They should not stare at the opposite sex, and they should wear a veil. Further, it's mentioned in Rig Ved, book number 10, hymn number 85, verse number 30, that it is devilish and not right when a husband, he covers his thighs with the garments of his wife. That means wearing clothes of opposite sex is prohibited in Hinduism. It's further mentioned in Mahavir Charit, Act number 2, page number 71, when Sri Ram, when he sees Parusharam, he tells his wife Sita that Parusharam, he is our elder. You cast thy eyes and draw the veil. So Sri Ram tells his wife Sita that when the elder comes, you should draw the veil and look down. Further, if you read the books of historical records, we find the Indian ladies, many of them wear veils. There are coins in the post-Gupta age showing women, Indian women, wearing a veil and the veil coming up to the shoulders, some up to the arms. Even today, if you go in many Indian villages, we find that women, they cover their head. Some of the women cover their face. So here if we analyze the modesty level of a woman in Islam and Hinduism is the same, that they have to be covered up. Furthermore, people talk about that why does Islam allow a man to have more than one wife? In fact, if you analyze most of the major scriptures, they permit a man to marry as many wives as they wish. If you read Ramayana, the father of Ram, King Dashrath, he had 3 wives. If you read the Vishnu Sutra, chapter number 24, verse number 1, it says a Brahman can have 4 wives. If you read Mahabharata, Krishna had how many wives? 4, 10,000, 10,000. Krishna had 16,108 wives. So when Krishna can have 16,108 wives, so why can't we Muslims have at least 4? Quran says in Surah Nisa, chapter number 4, verse number 3, marry women of a choice in 2s, 3s or 4s, but if you can't do justice, marry only one. In Islam, you are allowed to marry 2, 3 or 4, but if you can't do justice, you can only marry one. But if you can do justice, the maximum you can marry is only 4, you cannot marry beyond that. And the reason why Islam allows polygamy, you can refer to my video cassette, Women's Rights in Islam.